All right, welcome back. We are looking at question number 2. We had covered discuss who Unilever's shareholders and stakeholders are and how might each of them be impacted by the reduction in plastics, right? So here we did identify that stakeholders would include the community, would include the environmental authorities, would include the government, right? Would include, you can put those three, then plus the shareholders who are the investors, right? So that you have four. Then the nature of the impact, for instance, on the shareholders, right? They would need to invest more money to go green, right? They may need to sacrifice profits as well, right? Then the community, um, it means that they would enjoy health because of a cleaner environment, right? However, they may be impacted negatively uh, on the prices of the Unilever commodities, right? The government and the environmental authorities will both benefit without any negative here because it means that they will get good names because Unilever has gone green. Okay, then the 8 marks has been answered. Analyze how Unilever's decision might alter its supply chain cost. So the supply chain cost might increase because they are leaving the plastics which are uh, cheaper and going for the more costly products, which are green products, right? And how might each of them, and retail prices, so their prices are probably going to go up, right? Then discuss, then you give reasons, you analyze. So it's an analysis. You go back again to the case study and you try to find points which support your analysis and discuss what are some of the opportunities, right, and costs of such a massive shift. So the opportunity is that um, the company will have a low carbon footprint, or it will have a good name from environmental authorities and the government, which might result in certain tax benefits, right? Those are the opportunities. Or it may get better investors due to the fact that it decided to go green. However, some costs would be it may lose profits in the short run, but in the long run, it would increase its wealth would improve as time progresses because it has gone green. Then assess whether you think Unilever is taking a principled stand, making a calculated business decision, or both. Right? Is it a principled stand? Is it making a calculated business decision, or it's both? Right? So, from my point of view, it's both, right? Then you give reasons, right? Number one, it's principle because it is actually aligning with the sustainable development goals, right? And it is also um, trying uh, to give benefit to the environment and the community at large, right? Then it's a calculated business decision because as much as it may reduce profits in the short run, but in the long run, it would result in the creation of wealth for the entity. All right. Then the D part, discuss where you believe a company's priorities should fall in terms of striking a balance between shareholder interest, stakeholder interest, and environmental principle. Right. So the priority should be to the shareholder, right? But the interests of these three are actually aligned, right? Because at the end of the day, the shareholder wants to increase wealth, right? Since they want to increase wealth, we are saying they sacrifice the profit for the benefit of those two, the environment and the other stakeholders' interests, right? But in return, over the long period, over the long run, the benefit from the stakeholders, it will result in better customers, it would result in a healthier environment, it would result in um, better employees, right? It would result in all these benefits coming back to the company to increase the wealth of the company. So the priority is on the shareholder. But since the priority is on the shareholder, it's to increase wealth, not to get profit, but to increase wealth. So, since it's to increase wealth, it therefore means that they sacrifice the profit today and earn uh, the the benefit in the long run by earning support from the stakeholders and environmental authorities as well as the government. All right. Then, using Porter's five forces model, conduct a comparative analysis on, on Safri, Salama, and discuss your findings. So remember, the Porter's five forces model, we've got five forces. Number one, uh, uh, competition among existing or rivalry among existing competitors, right? How intense is it, right? So each factor of the five forces, you need to analyze it as either low, moderate, or high, right? Is competition high? Is competition moderate? Or is competition low, right? That's one. Secondly, when we look at customers' bargaining power, is it low, moderate, or high, right? Suppliers' bargaining power, is it low, moderate, or high, right? Then you look at um, threats of new entrants. Is it low, moderate, or high? Then threats of substitute products. Is it low, moderate, or high? Then once you have analyzed those five, you then consider the overall, or you do an overall analysis whether it's low, moderate, or high again. All right. Then discuss the relevant Porter strategies that Safari Salama can implement after the completion of the analysis to expand the competitive advantage of Safari Salama. No marks will be awarded to on theory of Porter strategies. So you're looking at the generic strategies, right? You're supposed to apply the generic strategies, but you're discussing which generic strategies um, the company or Safiri is supposed to take, right? Is it um, is it the what do you call it? Differentiation? Is it the focus? Is it cost leadership? Or is it the best cost provider? So you must choose here. There is no proper answer, but choose. Then you submit your scripts to me tomorrow. I will review and give you my own point of view on your script. Then the last one, explain the SEMA fundamental ethical principles that you would breach if you agreed to the chief technology officer's demands and requests. Okay. So the CTO has asked you to undertake a cost-benefit analysis of the proposed new information technology system, as it intends to use the same analysis to convince the board of directors to invest in the new system, which was not part of the 3-year business plan. On completion of the analysis, you discovered that the new proposed system will not run properly on Safiri, Salama's existing infrastructure. You believe that the deployment of the new system will require a complete overhaul of the existing desktop computers, laptops, servers, and software, which will lead to excess cost over benefits. After sharing your thoughts or your findings with the CTO, he has suggested that you downplay the cost of replacing information technology infrastructure. This is because the CTO intends to find an alternative solution that will allow existing infrastructure. So you are breaching, right? So what you need to do in answering an ethics question like this, you identify the principles that are being breached, and you identify the threat that is potentially breaching that, right? So it's an advocacy threat in this case, right? Advocacy threat to what? To objectivity, right? To professional behavior, right? Those two, right? Um, Professional behavior and objectivity, but the threat itself is um, um, advocacy threat. All right. Thank you so much. So you can now work on this and we can discuss it tomorrow. Thank you.